Hello fellow hunters of the blue, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Zero Skill, a series of videos where I show you the simplest and most effective way of painting your models. In this video we will take a look at how to paint Raptors armor with an amazing result and just 4 simple steps and some optional finishing details. I've wanted to do a contrast style Raptor scheme for a long time, and thanks to Vallejo Express paints, I finally have the tools I need to make it justice. As you might know, Vallejo is now the sponsor of the series to showcase their amazing range of express paints, and they are, to me, and I'm obviously biased, the best one-coat paints in the market. I will leave a link in the description to the Vallejo web so you can check the immense array of products they offer, where I'm sure you will be able to find a product that suits your needs. And now, let's get cracking. As you can see, we're starting from a base coat of Wraithbone spray, but literally any light color spray will do. For example, Vallejo Flat White is a fantastic white spray and would be ideal here. I just ran out and the only thing I had was Wraithbone. And the first step would be to do a layer over the whole armor using a 1-to-1 mix of Muddy Ground and Mahogany. I've been testing so many paints for this initial layer, and for the subsequent steps I've been brainstorming and testing this paint job probably more than any other, and I found that I like the warm browns, but Muddy Ground was a bit too dark and a bit too desaturated, and Mahogany was a bit too light, so why not mix both and get the exact perfect color I was looking for. The Raptor scheme really benefits from having that brown shadow underneath all of the drab green armor. Is probably the look that I like the most, and I think this contrast recreation is absolutely bang on to the original color scheme. I didn't came up with that idea, I'm just standing in the shoulders of giants. You don't need to do the smoothest layer here. Again, we're going to do a dry brush over this, so it's not the end of the world if it's a little bit patchy, but the cleanest layer we can get, the easier our job will be in the subsequent steps, so try to be careful. And the next step is going to be to do a dry brush, and the first dry brush we're going to do is using Nurgling Green. I find Nurgling Green to be the perfect color for this color scheme. It's going to provide a lot of light without desaturating our green. This is quite a transparent paint, so it will take a little bit of time, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to try and do all of my dry brushing in the same direction, in this case from the top down. That way I'm going to catch more paint in the upper facing surfaces, creating a zenithal highlight very naturally. If you have a lot of control, it's very easy to also do some stippling, just like that, to create a nice volumetric highlight. It does require a little bit of practice, but it's really easy to do. And as I always say in this series, the more time you spend doing this step, the better result we are going to get in the end. So it really pays off to spend just a little extra time doing this dry brushing, just to get it as good as possible. And another benefit from that is the more you do, the better you will be. I've done most of my dry brushing work now, but there are some areas of the mini that I can't reach well with that one, so I'm going to go for the tiniest one. This is where this kind of brush shines, and we're also going to do this to do some targeted highlights and some stippling. For example here, it's a fantastic tool to create some volume, because this is so tiny. It can reach into all of the tight spaces, giving us exactly what we need to finish dry brushing this model. You can leave this model like this, but I think it's worth it, especially for Raptors, to do one final highlight with a dry brush. And for that, I'm just going to use white. Any white will do, but I highly suggest you use a satin white paint. We want really little paint on the brush here. It has to be a very light dry brush. And we're just going to try and pick up all of the edges with this. Just a final edge highlight. And again, if we really want to get the best result, we can do the same with a tiny brush and get into the real hard to get recesses. maybe doing some stippling on some of the volumes, just like that. Again, the more time we spend with our dry brush, the better the final result is going to be. With all of the dry brushing done, it's now time to apply the final express layer, and for that I'm going to use a 1-to-1 mix of Commando Green and Camouflage Green. Those two greens were designed as military colors, and I was playing with them and I found that just using a mix of both give us the best results. Again, sometimes you just need something in between the options. And we want to do a thin layer here. We don't want this to be dripping wet or like flowing everywhere. We just need to tint the surface into this super lovely green, and the brown underneath on the shadows is going to provide us with such a lovely, lovely warmth that it's going to look amazing. Express has probably the best self-leveling properties of all of the contrast type paints in the market, so they will leave a fantastic result if you just leave them. You just apply them and leave them do their own thing. They will dry out amazing most of the time. But of course, moving your brush in the correct direction, always in the direction you want more paint to be, and going section by section will give you the best result. And that's it. For me, this will be more than good enough for an army standard. But if you want to take your models to the next level, I'm going to show you just by adding a couple highlights how you can bring them to a really, really good standard. And our first highlight is going to be Camouflage Green from Game Color. I'm just going to do an edge highlight with this, as thin as I can make it. And I'm going to focus this edge highlight towards the viewing angle of this model. And I'm also going to do a volumetric highlight, but I'm going to do it with stippling and texture, because for the Raptors specifically, this really works well for them. And I'm also going to add just a tiny bit of weathering. Just some chips, some scratches, things like that. I never do it for other chapters, but come on. It's Raptors. You kind of have to do it. But again, I'm not going to do them any other place than on the front facing of the model. Again, just being very careful, doing some stippling, some weathering, some scratches, and using that to create my highlights, just like that. Camouflage Green is just the perfect color to highlight Raptors. I really spent quite a lot of time looking through all of the model color range just to find a good like olive drab color to highlight this, and it turns out I was looking in the wrong place. It was Game Color all along what I needed. Go figure. And now, as a final highlighter to make it extra special, I'm going to do a final very small highlight using Dead Flesh from Game Color. I'm going to be very, very targeted with this highlight, just picking out the most exposed details and, you know, maybe doing a little bit of a volumetric highlight just in the center. Again, using the same stippling technique, just, you know, make him look extra good. The difference this final highlight makes is absolutely incredible. I'm not sure you can see the model rotating right now on your screen. I'm afraid I might have done too good of a job with my camo. Joking aside, this is probably my favorite of the Zero Skill Marines. He genuinely looks amazing. If you want to see a full video on how I painted the camo cloak, you can find it right now on my Patreon, alongside a full description on how I painted the rest of the model. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget that if you like my videos and want to help me make them, you can follow me on social media. You have the links to all my social media in the description below and in the pinned comment of this video. Share and like this video, but most importantly, there is Patreon and channel members. Patrons and members allow me to do all the cool videos that I want to make, and most importantly, they allow me to keep releasing videos for free here on YouTube. Perks include access to an amazing Discord community full of lovely people, access to many more Patreon exclusive videos, and now also private one-on-one tutorings. Help me enjoy the list of the coolest persons on the planet, including Jaming Yang, Christopher Weatherford, Gilio, Nathan Schickel, William Sherman, Michael Holtz, Matt Broad, Rob Landrich, John Schatt, Kieran Slade, Shen Shiro, Roosevelt, Petrov 1970, Steve Page, Jason Landry, Brendan Rafferty, Joe, Werner Folnate, Sam, Brett Malone, Joshua Wolf, Chase, Morrie K, Emilio Salas, Max Scribner, J.H., Alessandro Laperna, Sebastian A., Oscar Zerain Bebia, Chris, Nick Warner, Jorge Pardo Serrano, 901 Horses, Carol Hosigawa, Francesco Gambino, Killaman21, Painted by Tentin, Lafarrell, Dark Rune, Valentin Bedell, Kevin Marshall, Adam Carroll, Jeven Donvrava, Tristan Lenar, Mailbox 2112, Hi Anderson, Carl Langsberg, Michelle Borgi, Betty Osford, Jason Weber, CS Neon 2000, JS, Rob, Nicholas Brownie, Big Bear 833, Dare, Kim Bengston, Martin Gutha, Alan Hansen, Rob Hassal, Stephen K, Arnaud, J, Emerald Stewart, Anthony Panullo, Rob Hewitt, Diane McCormack Smith, Dark Griffiths, Victor, Corey Tickler, Lugubrious Camhor, Zoe C. Jafet, 3Gs, Marco Parasnik, James Coplin, Rogelio Thomas, Wandering Paria, Kim Tango, Strange A. Raptor, Nicholas Acebar, Benji Lin, Emily Queen of Sloth, Nicholas Davis, Agon David, Pablo Cuesta, Benjamin Barbet, Pumpkin Hill, Chris Black, Jacob Matthews Babiuk, Andrei Michensko, Jake Stein, Stefan Zimmerman, Tom, Martin Reveroa, Sheshua, Matt Wallis, Robert McKillon, Daniel Peach, Henrik, Yusuf Ali, Chester Ross, Adam Foods, Tyler Hughes, Chris G, Spicy Joe, Matt Watson, Hamish Donald, Matthew Lang, Stavros Stavro, Mac Reguera, Romain Ars Miniatura, Jazz Rex, Dr. Cathaver, Alengeros Alexos, Des, Giuseppe Nicola Ancona, Antoine Darvon, Felix Frank, Aaron Bersten, Daniel Ramin, Bowsy, Terry Denham, Plunge, Beyond, Howard Holby, Stephanie All, Stephen Rockford, Roy Nilsson, Orscanio, Anton Domberg, Nigen Guyenda, Marco Cristalios, Bartosz Badensky, Darcy Farrar, Natius Maximus, Javi Mota, Adam Thaxon, Gareth Smith, Heather Ramstel, Mark Jarvis, Fergal, Josh Simpson, Christoph Moret, Charles Armitage, G-Force, Dr. V, Leonard Lindemann, Kiddo Muther, Andrew Dyer, and Kevin Sullers. And as for me, I will catch you in the next one. Bye.